So Bobby Green and Arman Tsarukyan, or I should say Arman Tsarukyan's team, got into it at the Fighter Hotel in Texas. Apparently, there were some hands being thrown. We also have a massive announcement. Yair Rodriguez and the rank squatter Brian Ortega are making the return. This February, the UFC is going to Mexico, and the big co-main event will be Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi. And we have confirmation in regards to Aljamain Sterling's career moving forward. He has officially decided to move to 145 pounds, which is a terrible mistake, a bad idea from Aljamain Sterling. I'm going to discuss all of this stuff, but first, it's time to get to Bobby Green and Arman Tsarukyan.
Little bitch ass right there. Yeah, I'm gonna get you right there. Yeah. Y'all ran up on me. What's up?
He didn't know I was gonna finish it. I socked one of his homies. Bop! Stop playing with me, bro. They all ran up on me by themselves, and they was acting all that tough. As soon as I ran into again with my, then he was, oh, no.
So we're less than a day into fight week, and Bobby Green and Arman Tsarukyan are already getting into it. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for this altercation. I hope that someone actually has some footage of the punches being thrown. But again, it's like, you know, someone could just snap in an instant and they can let off a flurry of shots before anyone can pull out their phone. So don't know what the beef is between Arman Tsarukyan's team and Bobby Green. I don't know who started it. Maybe Bobby Green was mean-mugging Arman. Maybe Arman was, you know, mouthing off to him, saying, what do you think, you're tough or whatever? Because, you know, these guys like Arman Tsarukyan and Ilia Topuria, they definitely have egos about them, but so does Bobby Green, man. He doesn't take too kindly to that bullshit. He doesn't play like that. So, yeah, interesting altercation. Bobby Green did actually delete these stories. So, maybe Dana White paid him a visit. Maybe Dana White gave him a call. But they were up on Instagram for a couple of hours, and I'm looking forward to hearing what Arman has to say about this as well. But if they fight, this will be a great buildup. Like, if Arman loses to Beneil and Bobby can end up beating Jalen Turner, this would be an awesome fight. Maybe they could put it on like the prelims of UFC 300. It's a shame that we don't have a press conference, though. It's a shame that we don't have a press conference. I mean, you know, I don't know if the press conference would be that great. Beneil Dariush, Arman Tsarukyan. I'm trying to think of the other names. Figgy. Yeah, it wouldn't be a good press conference anyway. But let's get on to the other news. I just wanted to show you guys the altercation, or at least what we can see of the altercation, because maybe you haven't seen it. Again, I think he deleted his story on Instagram. Next up, we have Aljamain Sterling confirming his move to 145 pounds. He announced this on Demetrius Johnson's YouTube channel.
Are you right now saying your next fight is going to be at 145, you think, officially?
That's, I would say, officially what I think I'm going to be at.
I don't like this at all. I think it's a massive mistake, okay? Aljamain lost because he literally ran forward head first into an O'Malley pullback counter right hand. He just made a silly mistake. He made an embarrassing mistake. I don't think Aljamain Sterling is going to have success at 145 pounds. Not only does this guy fail like 90% of his takedowns, I mean, he didn't get a single takedown on O'Malley, for example, and O'Malley had a broken rib, and he was taken down at will by Petr Yan. So that's not like the epitome of takedown defense. Yeah, he took down Cejudo. Fair enough, and O'Malley clowns him for that. He often says, Cejudo, if you want to get some work on your takedown defense, come and train with me. But listen, man, this is a guy, as I said, he's usually going out there and getting 2 takedowns out of 22 attempts. He relies on a reach and size advantage in the striking, right? He's not got any power. He doesn't have the best chin. He doesn't have the best chin in the world, but it's not bad. Again, he just got caught by the perfect shot. He was running forward into O'Malley's perfectly placed pullback counter. So it's not a slight on his chin at all, but like, if this guy fights Max Holloway, anyone's chin compared to Max is just glass right off the bat. Max Holloway on paper is this unbeatable fighter anyway, and people still don't give Volkanov credit. I know you guys are going to be lining up in the comment section telling me that I'm glazing, but think about it like this, man. Max Holloway, never-ending cardio, never-ending volume, actually has knocked out more than 10 people in the UFC, so he has some pop if he's sitting on his punches and getting into a slugfest. Amazing takedown defense. This is something that's really crucial here, especially if Aljamain Sterling wants to fight him. Max Holloway never gets taken down and held down. Like, the only guys that have taken him down, people like Volkanovski, Ortega got him down once, but Ortega actually kind of has underrated ways of taking people down. No one's ever held Max down except for Conor McGregor, and that was way back in the day when Max Holloway was a tadpole, essentially, right? Max Holloway, you can't knock him down. You can't hurt him. How the fuck do you beat this guy, right? Volkanovski went out there and schooled him. I'm going on a tangent, but my point is, there's a reason why Max Holloway's unbeatable outside of the featherweight GOAT, okay? There's a reason why. And I don't think Aljamain Sterling would do well without his reach advantage and size advantage and strength advantage. He would get his takedown stuffed, and he would get the shit beat out of him on the feet by the volume god himself. Aljamain can't just be out there trying to funk it up with low kicks at range, all right? The front kicks at range. It's not going to work. Against a guy like Ilya, it ain't going to work. You're not taking down Ilya or out-grappling him. Of course, if he gets someone down, I could see him taking the back, but, like, it ain't happening with these bigger guys, okay? It's not happening with Volk. His one chance, in my opinion, is probably a guy like Yair Rodriguez. Because Yair Rodriguez doesn't have the best grappling, he's wild on the ground, but I think Aljamain would be able to contain that, and I think Aljamain would have a serious skill advantage. But is he going to be able to close the distance and play that range game? And that's usually what he does to bide his time on the feet with a guy like Yair, who had Volkanovski diving at his legs, who had Max Holloway diving at his legs. I don't see that happening. Ortega is the one fight that's sort of winnable, but I still Yair is kind of winnable. If you take Yair down, I could see him finishing Yair. I could definitely see him taking Yair's back and ground and pound TKOing him or finishing him. I think Ortega is a guy that's too tall of a task for Aljo as well, because he's great on the ground, and I think he has underrated striking. He has a pretty long reach. He's got great boxing. He has power in his hands. So I really think that Aljamain Sterling should stay at 135. And I think most of you guys would agree with that. Like, he could still beat a guy like Petr Yan, who's a slow starter, who he could spam takedowns on and just mix it up and be real tricky to hit on the feet and just chuck a bunch of volume in Petr Yan's face. He could still beat someone like Sandhagen. He might even be able to beat someone. Oh, he'll never fight Merab, so there's that. But he might be able to beat someone like Chito Vera. I bet he would beat Chito. He would take him down, beat him up. I mean, Sandhagen was able to take him down and control him. He could beat Rob Font. Again, he has a size advantage over all of these guys. Aljo, if you're listening to this, don't move up unless you're just trying to have fun fights. I know that you've, been someone that's got burnt out before and you want something that's exciting. You don't want to keep cutting weight. It takes the fun out of it. You want to just enjoy your training. I totally understand that. When you're not on a diet, you can just indulge in more food and your workouts feel better. You feel stronger. If you feel like cutting weight's hindering your progress, I get it. He's aging too, so maybe it is time to move up, but I feel like he could have, he has a better chance of becoming a champ at 135. Simple as that, okay? No reason to beat around the bush. If you're going for fun fights and you want to enjoy your training, move up. But, is it so fun to get a Max Holloway beatdown? I don't think it is. Aljo is going to be confident. Maybe he could fight the winner of Rob Font and Figueiredo on UFC 300. That'd be an interesting one. Figgy moving up from 120. Oh, wait a second. I'm thinking about 145. Never mind. That's not going to happen if he moves up to 145, obviously. But let's move on to the next one. What were we going to talk about? Oh, yes. Speak of the devil, Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega. They're fighting at UFC Mexico. Brandon Moreno on the co-main event. I'm not really going to break down Moreno and Albazi just because, I don't need to break down an Albazi fight right now, okay? All right, I don't need to get into the weeds on that one. I'm picking Moreno, surprise, surprise. But I don't mind Ortega's chances here, and this is why. Ortega's actually taken down some really good fighters. He took down Max, wasn't able to do shit with it, but he actually grounded Volkanovski a few times. He tripped him in the fourth round, got right on top of him. Volk was able to battle through that and get back on top. He took Volkanovski down with some weird exchange in the third round, which led to that incredible moment where he had Volkanovski in a mounted guillotine. Okay, but he also took down Yair. The reason why he messed up his elbow, or not his elbow, but his shoulder against Yair Rodriguez, because he did take him down up against the fence, slowed him down, worked towards it, and then he tripped him. I don't mind Brian Ortega's chances here, guys, and this is why. He's actually kind of got an underrated ability to take someone down. And if there's anyone that's got the ability to weather a storm that can take punishment, it's someone like Ortega, who, although he's gone through a couple of wars, or I should say beatdowns, he hasn't fought that much in his career. He did take a lot of damage on the come up before he ever fought Max as well, but he's been so inactive. And if his shoulder doesn't get dislocated from its socket like it did against Yair Rodriguez on the ground, and let's not forget, he landed in a weird position when he judo tripped a guy like Yair Rodriguez, or he judo tripped him, landed in a weird spot, and it was only seconds later in which he got injured. Clean win from Yair, but at the same time, a little bit fluky. I think he would be able to take down Yair Rodriguez, whose Achilles heel is the takedown defense. I know Yair's wild on the ground, but I think that if someone like Max Holloway can get the better of him, Brian Ortega could probably get the better of him if that doesn't happen again. I don't think that's going to happen again. And I don't see Brian Ortega getting knocked out. I actually picked Ortega to win the first time they were matched up. Yair lit him up on the feet. He was making him look easy. Again, if the number one pound for pound guy, Volkanovski, is diving at your feet, and Volkanovski was known for beating like the basically unbeatable fighter Max Holloway's ass, that says something. If Max Holloway with the granite chin is diving at your feet as well, that says something. You don't want to stand with Yair Rodriguez. Even though I think Ortega's got some underrated striking because he's got heavy hands, he's got pretty crisp boxing, he's just gotten beat by the best. He's not going to fuck with Yair. I think Yair's the most offensively sound fighter in the game. Like, there's no one who has better offense than him. He could take him down, man. He could take him down. He could hold him on the ground. I don't mind Ortega's chances. I don't mind his chances getting a submission if things get dirty and maybe Yair falls over himself. Ortega gets on top of him and submits him. It's a closer fight than you think, but I think that Yair is the right pick because Ortega's been super inactive as well. So there's that. Inactive, lots of injuries. I don't know why, but I get the idea that Ortega is one of these guys that just loses motivation, kind of gets fat in the offseason. So maybe his drive isn't necessarily where it needs to be to compete at the highest level at this point. I think that might be one of the reasons as to why he takes so much time off outside of the injuries themselves. But finally, we have Ortega coming back to defend that ranking spot. And I kind of want Yair Rodriguez to win just because we've seen Yair versus the Max Holloway and the Volkanovskis already, but I kind of want to see Yair face Ilia Topuria. And I think that if Ilia beats Volk, the UFC is going to want to give him a fresh matchup. You know Volkanovski is going to be leaping at the bits to get a rematch, which is just going to be a horrible idea if he gets knocked out by Ilia, leaping at the bits to get a rematch. That's a good way to kill off his career. I want Yair to win. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time.